Hello everybody. Today we're going to be finding out why you are probably a better composer, songwriter, producer than you think you are. And for those of you who are mired in self-doubt, a couple of hints as to how you can get yourself out of this. I've got three main approaches to why I think that you're probably better than you think you are. The first one is what I'd call Pimple at a party. Imagine you're going to a party with all the people who really matter to you in the world there, and you've got this kind of pimple which suddenly comes up 2 days before on your face. You go to the party and you're absolutely convinced everybody's staring at this pimple all the time. And of course they're not. They're looking at you. They might notice, oh, okay, doesn't really matter. Your music is exactly the same. Because what tends to happen is there will be something in there which they won't be confident about. There will be that chord change in the chorus which doesn't quite work, or there'll be that sort of that melodic line which doesn't quite go anywhere. And you're absolutely convinced that this completely undermines the whole piece of music and everybody will think it's complete trash because of that one problem. It's not. Your perspective on what your music sounds like and other people looking in are two completely different things, and you are far more self-conscious about its perceived failings than probably they are. So the music is probably a great deal better than you think it is. It's just your perspective is different to other people's. And the problem is, if you think it's terrible, you won't put it out there with any confidence, or more than likely, you won't put it out there at all, because the sunglasses of doubt will blind you to your own ability. Okay, so we're going to, this little video is all about ripping off the sunglasses of doubt and chucking them somewhere else. The next reason where things go wrong is what I call baby and the bathwater. You know, chucking out the baby with the bathwater. You can hear something's wrong with a piece of music. You think, how am I going to fix this? I can hear it's not quite working, but I can't fix it because I don't know how to do it. So you chuck the whole thing away and you start from scratch. Now, very, very few pieces of music come into the world fully formed and perfect first time. It does happen, but it's once in a blue moon. What experienced songwriters, producers, composers know how to do is to take the raw material which comes out with your first draft and how to polish it into something really, really great. But if you lack those analytical skills to know what needs to be changed and what doesn't, then you're likely to go and you're back to square one. So you've got this constant loop of initiating something, not being happy, initiating something, not being happy, chucking it out, etc., etc. So there are solutions to this, but you need to be aware of what the problem is. The third one is a really, really common one, which almost everybody suffers from, which is imposter syndrome. Where you're thinking, I can't be here. I can't be here surrounded by all these great people. But the trouble is, all the great people surrounding you think they're imposters and you're the great people, because they have that perspective sitting outside looking in going, yeah, she's all right. She's quite good. That's right. That's not a bad piece of music. And you're doing the same thing back. Okay. Imposter syndrome is a huge subject and we probably need to return to it. But it has its roots in self-doubt. And there is a happy middle ground between thinking you're some kind of genius and thinking you're a fraud. Okay? And where you accept your failings and are able to work on them, but you don't have this ridiculous, deprecated, feeling about who you are and the lack of confidence and everything else. So do me a favor. You are probably a lot better than you think you are. You deserve to be where you are. Just enjoy where you are and acknowledge that there are shortcomings and that you're going to enjoy the process of making things better. What would that process be? I think there's three main approaches to trying to find a solution to this. One is feedback. You need honest, constructive and informed feedback on your work, so that it's not pretending everything's perfect, but it's giving you something which sits in context, which is, not, no, it's trash, or that's. Getting feedback from your family is probably not the best because they're just going to say it's great. And even if it is great, you're not going to believe them because they're your family. Okay. So you need to find a different source of feedback, which is both honest, constructive and informed. You do need to learn to be more analytical about the music which you've created so that you're able to hear the individual moving parts. If you just see the music as a piece, as a whole, and you're not able to lift the bonnet and say, the problem is that bit, you can't pull the little levers and push the little buttons which changes it into something which is far better, then you're going to get stuck in that cycle of chucking stuff away all the time, and that's not really in anybody's interest. So what we want is detailed, objective, and insightful analytical skills, and those are something you're going to have to work on. And lastly, you need support. I mean, the trouble with the sunglasses of doubt are that they really thrive and they blinker your vision to your own quality and your own ability, particularly in the privacy of your own bedroom, where you're constantly mired by self-doubt and you never actually put stuff out there, or if you do, you do so slightly cringingly because you're sure it's terrible, and it's not, okay? So you need support from people with shared objectives and mutual encouragement. Now, where you can get all these things, there are lots of online communities where you can get feedback. There are lots of YouTube videos where you can start learning a more analytical approach to writing songs, music, composing for video games, composing for picture, whatever. And there are communities out there which offer, you'll find people on Facebook groups and various other places where you get these shared objectives and mutual encouragement. So it is quite possible to find these things. We at ThinkSpace Education believe these things are quite important, and so it will not surprise you to learn that our master's program is built really around those kind of objectives, because we see what the problem is. We see people like you with lots of talent who don't believe in themselves and don't have any direction, and we offer you professional mentors, 95 of them from all over the world, working at the absolute top level in the industry. The courses are all 100% online, so you can join from wherever you happen to be. Buenos Aires, Philippines, etc. Wakefield in England. We've got people from 52 countries. You'll be working on real-world projects, professional projects, so that you're bumping into the kind of challenges which real professional games and film and television composers bump into all the time. Songwriters, music producers, we've got an amazing range of genres we cover. But we understand that this is not an easy task because you've got a busy, hectic life. You've got a job, you've got family commitments, you've got whatever else. So we have incredibly flexible schedules where you can change from part-time to full-time pretty much every term so that it can fit around your life. And really importantly, there's a huge supportive community. We've got 300 students at the moment and a whole load of alumni, and they all come together, and it's just a wonderful environment where people give each other the shared support, shared objectives, mutual encouragement, and constructive criticism. Also, we don't just abandon you after you graduate. We have a brand new thing, and the Employment Support Program, ESP, which after you graduate will give you the motivation to keep going. It'll give you some deadlines to avoid procrastination. We want to see your show reel by the end of the month. We want to see a new website by the end of the next month, etc. And it'll give you all the kind of instruction and support you need to go out there and start networking, finding jobs, finding work opportunities, and pitching for them. So if you really want to take your music, sound design, to the next level, if you want to cast off the sunglasses of doubt once and for all, then check out the master's program. What have you got to lose? You can drop in at ThinkSpaceEducation.com, and there's details of how to get in touch. What most of our master's students do is they drop us an email and have a conversation with one of our team, many of whom are ex-master's students who know exactly what it's all like. They've all been where you are now. So they all will sympathize and can start giving you that constructive, supportive feedback which you need in order to move to the next level. Okay? Look, but either way, whether you're interested in a master's program or not, really trust me, you are probably a much better composer than you think you are, or songwriter, or producer, or sound designer, and just believe in yourself a bit, okay? See you again soon.